Did you know it's very difficult to enter a South Korean nightclub if you're a foreigner? If not, then keep watching this video because I'm going to give you my best tips on how you can party in the nightclubs out here in South Korea. Welcome to South Korea. If you're new to this channel, I am a Tokyo-based music producer and DJ, and I am currently out here in Seoul getting ready to DJ 2 gigs in South Korea, tonight at Club Race and tomorrow in Daegu at Club AU. So one thing you may or may not know about the South Korean nightclubs out here is it is actually incredibly difficult to enter a lot of these nightclubs as a foreigner. And also, if you're over a certain age limit, some nightclubs won't even let you in. And you might be wondering, oh, Vivid, why are they even booking you? You're a foreigner. Well, it's because I have been DJing out here in South Korea for quite a long time. I have a long history playing the clubs out here, and because I live in Tokyo, I've traveled out here a bunch and made a bunch of connections. And things have changed a little bit out here in Seoul, but a lot of the nightclubs still will not allow foreigners into the nightclubs. And I'm going to break down where you could probably party and where you can't, and also how you can get into certain nightclubs that only allow Koreans, because I have a few tips about that. So before I break down the club scene out here, let me give you a little bit of the history. About 10 to 15 years ago, Seoul was having a renaissance in its nightclub scene. There's a bunch of really big nightclubs like Octagon, clubs like Heaven, Syndrome, and these clubs were absolutely massive. And during this era, I actually came to South Korea a lot, and I was DJing out here. There was one year where I actually came to South Korea at least 15 times to DJ, so I was coming all the time. I was actually a resident guest DJ at Octagon out in Gangnam, and this was an absolute peak era. I mean, the nightclubs were amazing. The clubs were much better than Tokyo's nightclubs. It was an absolutely incredible time to party out here in Seoul. But a lot of things happened. I think these nightclubs were too big, too expensive, and you started to see very large EDM festivals popping up, making those artists exclusive to those festivals, so the nightclubs couldn't book those big EDM artists anymore. Also, there was lots of scandals in the nightclubs related with celebrities and whatnot. And then there was COVID, and it just completely devastated the scene out here. And after COVID, most of those super nightclubs all disappeared. So what is left is basically the nightclub scene has really shrunk. The nightclubs are much smaller. They have almost like a boiler room feel to them. The DJ booth tends to be more open in its design. Yeah, the vibe is quite different. And even in those earlier days, it was actually very, very difficult for foreigners to enter nightclubs. I remember a lot of times when I was guest DJing, I would have foreign friends that would want to come out, and I would have to go outside and talk to the security to let my friends in because they were so strict about letting them in. Also quite strict about how old they are. And unfortunately, that hasn't changed too much, but there are some key nightclubs, some areas that you can go party that are much more flexible, and I'm going to tell you about that right now. So basically, I feel like there's two types of nightclubs out here in South Korea. Ones that are very Korean, and they tend to play a lot of K-bounce. This is kind of like a mixture of Melbourne bounce and slap house. A lot of bootlegs. It tends to be 125 BPM, and this is the kind of the genre that you will hear in these Korean nightclubs, and it will be that all night long. And they actually even ask me, hey Vivid, can you play K-bounce too? I don't play K-bounce, but that's also why I keep coming, because I play my own music and I keep it hype, and then the bosses are always like, oh wow, that was great, let's book them again. So, and then the other nightclubs that are more international, more foreign friendly, and those clubs you're gonna get a lot of hip-hop, you're gonna get cool techno, and most of those clubs that are gonna be foreign friendly are gonna be in Itaewon. And Itaewon has loads of bars. It's a popping scene, much more foreign friendly than any other area you can go in Seoul for partying. And there's a couple key clubs you can check out in Itaewon. I first would recommend Faust, which is like a really cool techno nightclub. They're booking international acts. It's very dope. The vibe is very cool. I would highly recommend that. Also Bolero, you get a lot of tech house there. Cake Shop, Hot Box, these are all cool clubs that are foreign friendly. The next party area in Seoul is Hongdae, and this is where it gets really tricky. This is kind of the area where all the university students hang out, and the nightclubs here are actually incredibly challenging to get into if you're over 30 years old. You could still get into some of these clubs, but you would need to probably book a VIP table if you're over 30 years old. But 2 clubs you can check out in Hongdae are Sober and Heinz Club. Very cool clubs. The last area you could party in Seoul is the Gangnam Apgujeong area, and there's a couple clubs out there you could check out that are probably a bit more foreign friendly, and that is Vita or Times. These are pretty cool clubs, but I think everywhere else in the Gangnam area it can be quite challenging to enter these clubs. And the club I am DJing at, called Race, is 100% a Korean nightclub, and I know this nightclub is incredibly challenging for foreigners to enter, if not impossible. But I'm gonna give you a tip on how you can enter these clubs right now. Here's a super tip if you want to get into those Koreans only nightclub. Is all you gotta do is figure out who's DJing at this nightclub. They always post a timetable on the Instagram accounts of these nightclubs. So you can just hit up those DJs on Instagram directly and ask them if you can get on their list. You know, tell them you're a fan of their DJing, or just tell them you want to go to the club, and they'll put you on their list, generally, most of the time. And if you're on the guest list of one of these DJs at these Korean-only nightclubs, you'll be able to get in. I've done this many times myself, and it absolutely works. So if you really want to see one of these 100% Korean nightclubs, just hit up the DJs and you'll be able to enter the nightclub. Also, an important point, for a lot of these nightclubs, you do need to show your passport to get in. Just keep that in mind when you go out and party. So I know a few other foreigners that live here in Seoul that are actually DJs as well. I'm gonna go meet them right now and ask them a little bit about what they think of the South Korea nightclub scene. Let's go. So one of the first things I do when I come to South Korea is grab a Korean toast, and they look like this, and they're incredible. This is actually a chain called Isaac Toast, and you can find these all over South Korea, but these are so good. They have bulgogi in it, cheese, egg, and it's kind of like almost like a French toast. The bread is a bit sweet, and let's get into it. These are so good. If you're out here on the streets, be sure to grab these. These are so good. With Seoul DJs, Rail, and guess who? What's up, boys? What's up, boys? So these guys are OG DJs from the Seoul scene, kind of like me in Tokyo, and these guys were killing it. And I have some questions for the boys about the scene. Rail, how was the scene before COVID?
It was peak, bro. That shit was lit. Just go to the club. It was popping.
What kind of music were you playing?
Big room, EDM.
Did you find there were some challenges when you were trying to DJ in the clubs?
At first, there were a lot of challenges, but I mean, after you meet the right people,
right,
everything starts to fall in place.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Rail was playing at some massive nightclubs, and when I used to DJ in Seoul, I used to visit him actually at these clubs, and they were always incredible. And guess who? Deep House DJ. You said you were DJing at the celebrity type parties?
Yeah, like I was involved in some entertainment company, and I saw Ludacris one time.
Ludacris?
Yeah.
How was he in the club?
Yeah, he was having a good time.
Not like Diddy though.
No, not like that. Not like Diddy though.
Did he bring a bunch of lotion? Did he bring baby lotion? He's actually streaming video games on Kick. He told me he's the best Fortnite player in the world.
I try. If you're ever on Kick, look up Not on Worlds.
Okay, subscribe, give some donations.
Hey, if you just show up and say hello, I'll be happy.
For both of you guys, would you say the scene has changed since COVID?
Oh, dramatically.
I think you both are very deep in the Korean, like the people partying in the clubs that you guys were DJing at were Korean mostly, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not like Itaewon where it was like 50% foreign or something, right?
Right.
And I guess getting into that scene right now is probably incredibly difficult, right?
Extremely hard, yes. Nowadays, it's all about your skill. It's all about
social media.
Yeah, social media, like how many Instagram followers do you got?
All right, boys, what do you say? We get in the club?
Let's go.
Let's go. right, event recap, boys. Rail, what do you think? I mean, you know the old days.
I don't like to compare stuff to the old days because it's not fair. it's like having pinnacle crowds and now it's like people on their phones chilling, bro.
Yeah. So that's the problem. Is like everybody's on their phones, man. But as you see in the video that you took, there's like some girls dancing. There's a few, and there's a bit of a vibe. And then the DJ after me, bless her soul, does the K bounce, and then everybody just falls asleep.
Yeah, it was like people just looking at their phones, but when you started, they actually started to move a bit.
For sure.
It's almost like you're teaching them
a little bit of what modern dance music sounds like. Yeah. I'm not gonna say it was bad, but it was just like, it's the vibe out here is always unique. As we were leaving the club, there was 2 foreigners standing in line, and security was saying,
basically they weren't letting them in, and they were like trying to figure out why. And then this kind, wonderful DJ here said, are you with Vivid? So he was giving him a chance, like,
that's right,
just say yes and you'll get in. But he was like, no. And then when he walked away, he was like, are you racist? And he's white.
Bro,
and I'm just like, what? And then
I mean, like, we were walking out, I could tell they were struggling to get in, and I was just like, say you're with Vivid, wink wink, and you can get in.
Right.
And they were just like, they were kind of hostile about it, and I was like, well, now you're not getting in. Unfortunately, I gotta call it quits. I am fading fast. Boys, thanks so much. We're gonna continue in my honor to the next club.
Gotta pick up Diddy.
pick it up.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it helps you if you decide to party in Seoul. In the next video, I go to Daegu and break down the nightclub scene. Tell you how you can enter the nightclubs there, eat some amazing food, of course, and take you behind the scenes of my show. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe. V out.